I didn't mean to keep this figure in my back pocket for so long, to the point that what was meant to be an early review became a boring, normal topical review, but seasonal depression be like that sometimes, so pee poo poo and perish. But in our post-FNAF 2 world, the figure that found me in this turbulent time was, it's Quick Strike. I got Quick Strike. And he's fantastic. But before that was Airachnid. TFOne has had a complicated life both as a movie and a toy line, huh? The movie stuff makes me sad, so I'm just going to talk about the toys. Starting from the reveal that the movie's mandatory premiere Studio Series Optimus would be a deluxe, fan reception of these toys was destined to be controversial. Scale issues, strange color choices, the return of the Studio Series versus mainline debate, and an overall mixed execution on what could have been slam dunks given how electric these designs were on screen. Of course I, Kingdom Tracks apologist I am, had fun with all of the Studio Series releases so far, flawed as they are, enough so that I got the DNA kit for Megatron and Optimus. I might need to make a video on that kit, because I haven't really seen any reviews on it. Don't hold me to that, I owe you nothing. But now, with the newest releases, it seems that we've shaken off the beat the movie release date miasma, and Airachnid is here to kick off the TFOne releases for the next year. So let's raid the High Guard hideout with the drone mode, which looks pretty clean. Comparing it to the vehicle shown on screen, it's not entirely accurate, but as a multi-rotor flying space thing, it does the job well. Divorced from sheer accuracy, I like the look of this. My biggest worry on initial reveal is how well it would hold together, but everything tabs and looks together well. She definitely passes the whoosh test. It's certainly abstract in its shaping, as is the case with a lot of Cybertronian modes, particularly with the front, which has her flying with thigh and crotch first, not unlike me when I put my whole put. The front's unique shape looks like there should be a shockwave-style hexagonal prism in there. Huh. There's not very much painted detail at all, but she doesn't really need it. The original design is almost entirely monochrome, and she's been cast in this bluish gunmetal plastic that matches her on-screen colour well, at least far better than some other TF1 figures. It would be cool to see this done up in black, but I can definitely see a dark colour washing out all of the great sculpting, so I think a lighter colour was the good call. You could technically angle the front rotors for posing if you want, but more impressively, the back rotor can move. It's not exactly free spinning, but it can rotate. This mode has a lot of presence too, much to do with the rotors adding considerable size compared to other deluxes. It helps keep her imposing alongside other bots. Cybertronian designs have a habit of looking a bit like nothing in particular, especially the airborne bots. But Airachnid's drone mode is alien while still being able to convincingly be a vehicle. It kinda looks like if a xenomorph was a helicopter, like those Hot Wheels of like Star Wars characters, but it's a car shaped like Darth Vader or something. You know the ones? Yeah, those, but like if it was a xenomorph, instead of a car, though, it's like a helicopter drone thing. Like, that's what it looks like. In a good way, though. Like, it's cool. You know, I was actually surprised that there was no, like, alien Hot Wheels. Like, there's Hot Wheels of aliens, but they're just, like, general aliens. Like, the platonic idea of an alien, the green bug-eyed guys, or they're like those claw machine freaks from Toy Story, but there's no like car based on the alien from Alien. It just seems weird, right? Like, you'd think this is the most unconventional transformation I've covered so far. With a lot of transformations, you get to a certain point in collecting where you can figure out how a figure works, but Airachnid by nature is difficult to figure out at a glance. The legs are so well done. The front panels rotate and complete the thighs, and the side rows do some crazy stuff to become the lower legs. Everything is locked in so well, it can be tricky to navigate the tabs going into robot mode, particularly the tab looking the head in, which is the only point in the figure I'm worried about breaking. I love how the spider legs unfold and the whole chest and backpack folds up and locks together. For a design like this, it's really impressive how they are able to make an intuitive transformation. And as we look to the robot mode,
just one chance is all I'm asking.
Airachnid's design was already great, and this figure does well to capture it. A lot of fembot designs feel like they need to accentuate their female figures, but Airachnid strikes a really good balance of being distinctly feminine while not being overly sexualized or beautified, particularly compared to her inspirations.
Jesus Christ.
But of all the evil femme spiders in this fandom, this one really leans into the spider aesthetic. Athletic and imposing, a true hunter. You can really tell with this head sculpt where the xenomorph comparisons rear their head once again. The face, stripes, and other small details are the only real painted parts of the whole figure, and it's wild how little that resonates when you actually look at it. The sculpted detail and proportions do a whole lot to carry the sculpt, and it never feels under-detailed. Everything feels solid in robot mode, which after Elita 1 is very refreshing to see. Her lanky proportions maintain her stature and presence in robot mode. You could say she's short, but a lot of her height in the movie is just from camera angles and animation tricks, not to mention how the extra legs add a lot to her size. And there's very little in the way of kibble here too. The only thing of note is the folded up back rotor. I appreciate that it tabs in, and there's a dedicated hinge that lets it split and fold out of the way, which helps with some poses, but I usually leave it, because it makes the kibble just jut out in a really awkward way half the time. These angles and natural lines are so pleasing and dynamic. I'm getting hard Candy Tarkovsky vibes from this.
Just one chance, please!
And much like 2003 Grievous, this figure can do some crazy posing. What it loses in certain joints, it makes up for what you can do with the joints she has. The head is really posable and emotive, and manipulating transformation joints allows for some really fun posing. For a figure without wrists, ankles, or a waist, this figure is incredibly fun to pose and photograph. And the spider legs add a whole new dimension to it all. The legs have these soft locking points, meaning that if you weigh everything right, you can have her standing on the spider legs, and you could use the legs to walk or to attack, and overall just have a blast with messing with them. It is a shame about those missing joints, but by nature of the design, they would be really hard to include. Like, where are the ankles? What ankles? Point to where the ankles are. Right now. Point at them. Airachnid is a joy, a great design, and a figure that lives up to how cool she was on screen. Easily the most successful of the Studio Series TFOne lot. Where others have had mixed execution and very glaring pitfalls, Airachnid feels like they had some extra time and care to deliver an overall satisfying figure. Definitely worth a pickup, and it makes me more optimistic for TF1 going forward. I'm no better than a man.